Well, hi everyone, and greetings from Northern Michigan. This is Bob the Science Guy, and tonight we've got the moon using the 10-inch Meade SCT. So let's go make sure that we've got everything running here and see whether or not maybe we can get some images going. So we're going to pull that down. Make sure that we've got the right window showing. And hopefully we should have everything working now. So let's head on over to the YouTube channel and see whether or not things are working right. Well, I have an image. Everybody have sound and everything? Oh, we've got a couple of people out there. Do we have sound? Well, maybe if you don't hear me, let me type that in and see whether or not we've got her running. Rodman, prop, 5x5. Okay, well, welcome, guys. Tonight we don't have a really good session for the moon because it's pretty much full. And if you have a look at the moon in our image here, you'll see that because the sun is pretty much hitting the moon straight on, we don't have a lot of detail. But if you look up here by the terminator line in the upper right corner, you start seeing some nice detail on the craters. The reason for that is that you need oblique lighting to see the craters clearly. I mean, there's thousands of craters here in the center of the image, but you're not really seeing them because the sunlight is shining directly down into the crater and there are no shadows to give us any sort of contrast. You only get that up here by the edge. So, while we let a few people come on, I'm going to go attach my other screens to this so that you can see my cursor. Well, here in the United States, tonight is Halloween, and we had quite a haul of kids tonight in a lot of different costumes. My daughter came over to hand out candy, and I put on my little Bob Ross outfit, and I helped out as well. And we had a good time. It was nice to get the family together. Plus, I've got candy now to last me until Easter. So how'd everybody do with their Halloween tonight, if you happen to celebrate that? I had some problems with the collimation of this telescope. I wasn't really pleased with it, so I've been screwing around with it for a couple of hours. And I'm still not sure I'm happy with it. But at least I've got the focal length of the focal reducer fixed. I'm running a 0.58 focal reducer, which means that my 2770 millimeters of focal length on this telescope has been brought down to 1614 millimeters. And I've gone from an f10 down to an f5.5, which is kind of cool because now a 2-minute image with this telescope is pretty much the same as a 5-minute image previously. So why is that one screen not coming up? Let's try her again here. Okay. So I'm going to move my screens around here a little bit. There we go. I'm kind of happy with that. Now we're going to put the observatory computer over on the side screen here. And that will be on the right screen. Just doing a little bit of technical stuff here. So and there we go. Now you should have a nice cursor over here. Everybody see the cursor? And I'm going to just put my map up on the other screen. Give me a second to go find this. That's what I wanted right there. All right, life is good. Now, there's the map of the moon. And what I'm going to be able to do, I think, here is switch back and forth. So if I turn that off, we have the moon. If I turn it on, we've got the map. So let's go see what kind of images we can find here. Put a couple orders in with Woodland Hills Telescope today. I have an AM5, a ZWO AM5 mount coming. That's a harmonic mount. And that's going to be my secondary mount. And that will hold the refractor telescopes. It'll also hold the Ritchie Crayon, which is pretty much the limit of its ability to track. And I mean, that's the heaviest scope I can put on it. But more importantly, I've got a new project that I'm doing with the observatory, and that is a solar telescope. It is a Meade Solar Max 3. It is a 70 millimeter hydrogen alpha telescope with a doublet on the front, a double analon on it, and that will give us very nice details of the coronosphere of the sun. We'll be able to have a look at granules and prominences, sunspots, etc. I wanted to go ahead and start using that as soon as I could get it, because I'm getting prepared to take a trip down south, and I'm going to observe the solar eclipse in April. There's a total solar eclipse of the sun, and I may go back down to Carbondale, Illinois, where I saw the last one a few years ago, Because the interesting thing is the path of totality went over Carbondale when I was down there for the last solar eclipse, and it's going to cross it again on this solar eclipse, forming a very large X in the middle of the United States. So if the aliens show up, I figure that's where they're going to come, and I want to be there to live stream it in 4K glory. And I'll bring the solar telescope down, and I'll bring the ZWO AM5 mount down, and hopefully be able to stream the thing. So let's go ahead and have a look at a few things here. Now, one of the things that I kind of like doing is when I look at the moon, a lot of people look at the man in the moon, all right? And I don't think I need to really tell you guys too much about that. But one of the things that a lot of people don't look at is the rabbit in the moon. So if you look at the moon itself, here are the bunny ears. This is the Sea of Fertility and the Sea of Nectar. The head here, the top of the head, is the Sea of Tranquility, and you notice it's a little bit darker than either Nectar or Fertility, and it's also darker than the Sea of Serenity out here. The Apollo 11 mission landed approximately right there. And as I recall, I'm thinking Apollo 17 was right up here. But let's go see if we can identify a few craters here. So we're going to bring this down a little bit. One that kind of jumps out that everybody has a quick look at is this crater right here. This is Tycho. Notice it's got quite a ray system coming out of it. You see this a little bit more as the moon gets a little fuller, but when the moon is full and there are no shadows going on this crater, it tends to get washed out a little bit. Now, if you look over here, let me pull this one up. So if we go over here to our moon map, come on. So here is the rabbit in the moon. I think what I'm going to do this crater right in the center is Tycho. Let's double check that and make sure that we're right. Nope, that's not Tycho. Tycho's a little bit lower. Well, I can't read any of those things. Can you guys read any of them? There's Tycho right there. So that's the crater Tycho right there. You see it's got a very prominent mountain right in the center. And unfortunately, we simply don't have the resolution yet to be able to pick up that mountain very well. Plus, it's fully awash in sun. And as I said, we can't really see too much in the line of detail in it because of that. So let's go ahead and click on that. There we go. Come on, give me the information on Tycho. Ah, here we go. It's over on a different screen. So if you look at Tycho, it is approximately 60 kilometers in diameter. So we'll kind of use that as a ruler. So Tycho is 60 kilometers. Now if we go up here, we look at another well-known crater, and that is the crater Plato. And if we click on Plato, we see that it is 100.7 kilometers wide. And if we look over here, we can actually see Plato in our view of the moon. Why is it doing that? That's the crater Plato right there. And if we zoom in a little bit, there is the crater Plato. So that is 100 kilometers from edge to edge. Let's double check and make sure everything's going okay over here. Yeah, the yellow font makes it hard to read. I'll see if I can make changes to that, but I do know that once I see the names, what I can do is I can actually click on the name and it'll bring up the information on the crater. So we've got a couple of craters right here. Well, we've got actually 5 craters that I want to look at. These 3 craters right here are called the A craters. And if we look over on the clearer view, we'll go ahead and pull those up. And they are right here. So we've got the crater Archimedes. Archimedes is 80 kilometers in diameter. And that is this crater right here. That is Archimedes right here. And then we have 2 other craters. We have Autolycus, and that is 45 kilometers in diameter. And we have, Australis, sorry. That's Australis, and that is 85 kilometers in diameter, just a little bit larger than the crater Tycho. These are the lunar Alps. These are the lunar Caucasus, named after the Caucasus Mountains here on Earth. And these are the lunar Apennines. Here is, now if we come on down here, come on, why isn't this moving very well? So if we bring this over, so here is the Sea of Tranquility. The Sea of Serenity is this Mare right here. This is the Great Northern, or the Frigid Sea. That little dark area right there. That little dark area right there is where Apollo 17 landed. Now, we've got a couple of nice craters up here in the Frigid Sea in the north. Let's go ahead and have a look at those. So, here are the 2 craters in question right here and here. Here is the crater Plato. We saw Plato down here at the bottom. Now, the top crater right here is named after Aristotle. And it is, looks like about 87 kilometers in diameter. And if you look carefully, you can see it right here. This is the crater Aristotle. So here we have Aristotle, and this is Exodus here, and this crater is 70 kilometers in diameter. Now, coming down a little bit more. We're not really getting very good detail tonight, and I'm not at all happy with the focus of this. Let's see if we can get a little better focus real quick. Yes, they do know approximately how old the craters are. Hey, Steve. And unfortunately, I don't have the database on those. You could look up each individual crater. I'm going to see if I can get a little better focus on this. It's just not giving me a really good focus tonight. You know, one of the problems that you run into when you look at the craters on the moon is that the moon is quite a bit closer than the stars are, and as a result the focus is different than what you would get with stars. So let's go see what we have here. The other thing is, since it's a three-dimensional object, different parts of the moon focus in different locations, you know, on the focus wheel. See if we can bring this in a little bit better. The other thing, of course, is I'm still not quite satisfied with the focus, or with the collimation of this telescope. It was a little disappointing to me when I looked at it tonight. You know, as much time as I spent collimating it the other day, I was hoping to maybe have a little better collimation on it, but it doesn't look like it is. See, we just don't really get a lot of good detail in there. Thinking that might be the best that we can do. It's just out of focus to me. The fact that it won't focus tightly has to do more with collimation than anything else. This is a really good camera on this, but I think that we're probably not going to have a really good focus session on the moon tonight. It's not really crisp like I'd like it to. I think I'm going to probably take that telescope down and redo it. Do I do my own research on those craters or creators? What's that actually mean, Steve? What are you asking me for here? We'll bring it out a little bit, and that'll probably help with the focus a little bit. Yeah, I'm doing my own research right now. So again, here's the bunny ears. Here's the top of the head, which is the Sea of Tranquility. Here's the snout, Sea of Serenity. This is the Sea of Showers here. And this is the Ocean of Storms. This is the Sea of Islands. And that's the Sea of Vapors in here, I believe. The main thing I wanted to show tonight is we wanted to have a quick look at the moon, and I wanted to show what a difference oblique lighting makes. So as you see up here, you see a tremendous amount Oh, I got you, Steve. Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't have that right in front of me. But, you know, the main thing I wanted to show was what, you know, the value of oblique lighting and why the full moon is not really good to try and do observations on. It's all washed out and very flat looking indirect sunlight down here. You got to have that oblique lighting, and then you see the tremendous amount of detail that comes out. So tonight we're probably just going to do a really short one because I didn't want to spend too much time on this, given the fact that the collimation looks like it's still off quite a bit, and I'm not getting a tremendous, I'm not getting nice crisp focus. Tonight I was basically just trying to try out the focal reducer, see how that was doing as far as the time. I'm not really going to be able to get any images of asteroids tonight for the simple reason. What happened to that? Hang on just a second. There we go. Sorry about that. I can't really get asteroids tonight because I've got a full moon up there and it's very, very bright outside. So it's just kind of difficult. Yeah, you got to have that side lighting. Now, Rodman's bringing up a very good point. You can actually see how deep they are by looking at the shadows. So, for example, this one right here, you see the shadow is on this lip of the crater, and then the far lip of the crater is lit up by the sun. You see it over on this one as well. These are very, very deep craters. Now, the other thing that's kind of nice that we're not really getting tonight is there are some very interesting mountains on the moon. For example, down here by the 3A craters. Boy, we've lost detail on those, haven't we? What the hell is this? Why is it doing that? But in any event, there are some small mountains in this area right in here. You can see the Montes Rectus over here. And near these craters, you'll see Mount Pico, which is about 6,000 to 8,000 feet high. And then you also see Mount Pinon, which is about 15 by 25 miles and a couple of miles high. These are very rounded mountains. They're eroded, very much like the Appalachians are. They're very smooth, not really craggy. And that just has to do with their age and just the constant breakdown of the solar wind and such. Over in here, we actually have volcanic domes, which are really interesting to have a look at. So as the moon starts going through its phases, and if I can get some weather here finally, I'll have the collimation of this scope down a little bit better, and we'll see if we can spot some of these volcanic domes down in this area right here and some more detail on these craters. So basically, that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to just go ahead and have a quick look at the moon tonight. Don't want to take up too much of your time, let you get back to your families on Halloween. Just a little something to do after running the kids around. So, unless anybody's got any specific questions, we're not getting very good clear views of the moon tonight, so I think I'm going to go ahead and drop and end the stream here before too much longer. But I wanted to go ahead and come out for a few minutes. It's been about 30 minutes, and that's quite enough. So, anybody got any questions? Okay then. Well, we'll go ahead and get it going. Thank you again very much for stopping by. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and we are starting the Patreon up again for that solar telescope. In case anybody's interested, there is a link to it in the description of the video. Take care, guys.